Welcome into week 4 of the college football catch-up of the Stateline Sports Reporter podcast. I'm once again joined by Cole Johnson. We're going to break down our local games and then some special games this week.
Yeah, it's nice to be back. I think we did pretty well last week.
We did pretty good. I grossly was wrong in my estimation of ETSU. That's for sure.
Yeah, and so was I, and that's what we can get to in the first game because kind of talk about that a little bit.
It is. ETSU is on the road this week. They're going to be taking on Elon. Both of them are kind of like right on the brink of being ranked. They're ranked in some rankings, not in others. So they're both 1 and 2, but that's not really indicative of what these teams are looking like right now.
Yeah, huge credit to ETSU. We were both entirely wrong about that when we spoke last time. Huge credit to Coach Lamb and that staff and this team for what they did. And it's heartbreaking, but they, like Coach Lamb said in the post-game press conference, we had them beat. No matter how you look at it, had them dead to rights, and things just didn't bounce their way. So they are a ranked team if they win that, I think.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So if you want to take that loss as it is, this ETSU team, I don't think they need any more motivation moving forward, being that close to beating the number 2 team in the country. So I got to give all momentum to the Bucks in this one, I think, but it's still going to be a tough one, especially on the road.
Yeah, when you talked about momentum, that's quite literally like taking the words straight out of Coach Lamb's mouth from this Monday press conference. He's like, if losing like that doesn't give you motivation, what does? And they have all the momentum. It was a couple plays that didn't go their way at the end of that game that lost them that game. I think they're hungry to get back on, back in the win column because they feel like they should have been there after last week. As far as this series, the two haven't met since 2003, but ETSU's 2-1 all time. While ETSU isn't super familiar recently with Elon, Coach Trey Lamb is. He's actually met with Elon's head coach 3 separate times. Trey Lamb holds the 2-1 advantage in those matchups. He said that he's more of an offensive guy, Elon's head coach more of a defensive guy. So we'll kind of see how they bounce off each other there.
Yeah, it's the full battle, 2 different sides of the ball there. So, but if ETSU plays defense like they did last week, they held their own, especially in the after. They gave up the 2 first drives. And once you saw that, you're like, North Dakota State might not. They might reach the end zone every time, but ETSU buckled down and stayed in front most of the time. So if they can play good defense, I think they have the advantage on offense. So, edge to the Bucks, I think.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing here is going to be that run defense. They, even though they played well overall, they gave up quite a few rushing yards in that NDSU game. Elon has a star running back freshman that's really stepped up early this season. So it'll be interesting to see that back and forth there, see how that balances out.
Yeah, a lot of stud running backs in this game, huh? We've seen the running backs at ETSU kind of really carry the load.
Irby finally kind of broke free, out. Had a career high, 147 rushing yards,
3
scores, touchdowns. Yeah.
Got snubbed from talk about that later. From the SoCon Player of the Week, but
yeah, that was a little
sketch. What'd you say on Twitter? Sus?
I said it was sus. Yeah. you gotta stay hip. It was a little confusing to say the least. When I understand, sometimes you need to win to earn those accolades, but you're going toe to toe with the number 2 team in FCS football. Yeah. You got to give credit.
Need some context. Some context on these picks.
Precisely. All right, we are going to move right on along to Rutgers at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's like the only home team we've got as far as local teams this year or this week. Unfortunately, we won't be making our way to Blacksburg. A little busy at the racetrack.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But this is kind of a big matchup for the Hokies. Once again, I feel like we keep saying this, but I feel like even last week they're coming off of a win, but they still struggled. It was 10-14 at halftime. That's not what you need.
Yeah. We talked about it before when we did this last week, and it was like, can they get over that hump of Old Dominion and kind of blow them out? And first half, again, did not do that. They ended up, what'd they win by? in total.
They covered the spread.
They did cover the spread.
They covered. I don't exactly.
I forgot. It was 19 or 20, right?
Yeah,
something like that. But they got to figure out that first half, and that's what we talked about last time. They're not that first half. They're sluggish. Just no energy. I don't know. I think here's where, because Old Dominion was kind of like this is the pain in the butt team that's kind of, let's see what they can do. Now you got another Power 4 team. Not that they're anything special, Rutgers.
No, but I mean, they handed
yeah.
Virginia Tech a loss last year.
Exactly.
Virginia Tech went up to New Jersey, took a loss. Rutgers is actually coming off of an early bye week, so it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from that. I mean, you always question what an early bye week is going to do to a team. I mean, they're coming off of 44-7 win over Howard, 49-17 win over Akron, so there's not that much to judge as far as they're not playing the caliber of Virginia Tech yet. But Virginia Tech definitely holds the all-time advantage in the series, and they've never lost at home. I'm pretty sure it's been six matchups at home. They haven't lost at home yet. So that'd be kind of a sore spot if they lose. They definitely, both of these teams are looking forward to the following week, seeing conference play come into the picture. They need to get, both teams would be looking hardcore for a win.
Yeah. But for Tech, I think you have to have this one, like you said, going into ACC play, because if you can grab this one and go into conference play at 3-1, the door's open, especially in the ACC, which is kind of wide open right now.
It is.
However, wide open.
When you're talking about the ACC and you're looking at teams that really have a shot to do something this year, Miami's certainly in the talks now, and that's who Virginia Tech has on the horizon. So they definitely need this win. It'll definitely be interesting to see how everything plays out. Hokies are a little banged up right now. Bashal Tutin's been in blue. Coach Pry made it seem like he'll be A-okay, good to go. Linebacker Kelly Lawson was also in blue. That was a little less optimistic from what I heard from Pry. So we might actually get to see a local product. Jaden Keller might get a couple more snaps there. He did start the first game. They've been kind of rotating through. They've got like 5 linebackers right now that are really making an impact on this team. So we'll see who could really pop off there.
Yeah, good to see him on the field for sure. But I don't know. I guess we'll get to the spread later.
Yeah, we'll go.
We'll lock her in.
We'll hit our betting lines later, but we're gonna move on to arguably one of the biggest games. There are a few good ranked matchups this week, but College Game Day is headed to good old Norman, Oklahoma.
Man, it would be nice if they were in Knoxville.
It would be.
Except we probably wouldn't have been able to go the race, so it's probably a good thing. But Game Day. The SEC baptism, they're calling it for Oklahoma. First SEC game. So it's it already speaks for itself and how big this game is in Oklahoma entering that SEC. It's also Josh Heupel's former home, where he played college football. So
I think that's
also coached as well.
Yeah, I think that's got a lot to it.
There is, and I actually saw a video on Twitter the other day, and it was X. It was when Bob Stoops let him go as the offensive coordinator, and it's some Tennessee fans ruffling that up, kind of like a motivation kind of technique there. I'm not sure. I'm sure Josh doesn't really put too much into it, care too much, maybe a little deep down inside. He won't tell any of us though.
Yeah,
for sure,
I think there's definitely deep down. I mean, he wants this bad. He wants it bad anyway. SEC opener, you obviously want to keep rolling on. But he definitely has a lot of history within this program. He was telling us on Monday truly how grateful he is for Oklahoma. I mean, he won a national championship for Oklahoma. Oklahoma gave him his start at coaching. He's coached with Brent Pry. He was on the team while Brent Pry was a coach. So Venables the whole time. I should know this. He was at Clemson while I was there. I was like devastated when he left for Oklahoma. I'm just locked in Virginia Tech mind still. But yeah, there's a lot of history between Heupel and Venables. So that'll also be a little interesting coaching head to head right there too.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for Tennessee in this one is really seeing, because there's no way to shake this unless something crazy happens in Tennessee, and they're much better than we even think they are. Their starters are going to have to play all 4 quarters for the first time this year. with all the blowouts they've had through 3 games. I mean, none of their offensive or defensive starters have played a full game yet. Does that come into factor? So that's one thing to look out for. But this offense has been churning. Defense still hasn't allowed a touchdown dating back to last season. I don't know. I'm excited.
I'm
excited.
I'm pretty pumped for this one as well. It's both teams are 3-0, but I feel, and it's hard to judge because the Vols played Kent State. Like when you're looking at matchups like that,
Yeah.
but Oklahoma hasn't exactly been blowing out their opponents. They've had close games against Houston and Tulane, and they've yet to accumulate more than 400 yards of total offense. Obviously, the Vols had 750 or something like that, an absurd amount. And so they know how to, stack the yards, but truly it's going to be Nico Iamaleava. I was told I was saying it wrong. So now I'm like thinking about it. It'll be his first SEC start. He hasn't seen an SEC opponent. And I think that just brings a whole new level to it. Obviously, he stepped up to every single test he's had so far. But I mean, conference plays a whole new monster.
Yeah. And he was asked about that after the Saturday's win. And he was kind of played it down a bit. He just said, we look at every opponent the same and take that with whatever you may want to take it with. But I think also me trying to figure out how to say his name has been a struggle for a while too. So I'm just gonna leave it out and call him Nico for now.
I thought I had it down.
I thought I did too.
I was like, I have it. And then someone was like, no, you don't have it. And I was like, so now I'm back in my head. So
let's say it one more time.
So I had been saying Iamaleava, but I was told it's no. I had been saying Iamaleava, but I was told it's Iamaleava. Okay. I don't know. Apparently he has a pronunciation, so we just need to watch it a couple more times to make sure we actually have it right. But give us some grace if we just call him Nico.
Yes, for sure.
But I think that this will be a fun one. Last matchup between the two teams went to double overtime. Tennessee lost in Knoxville. Maybe it's time to return the favor. Hand to Oklahoma, lost in Norman.
Yeah, I think that'd be huge. And I think this is really one of those games, especially for the Vols faithful, where it's so big that if they win this game, it's really opens up the door. Like they could do it. They could run the table here and, find themselves in the college football playoff. Like, it makes it more of a reality if they win this game.
With the expanded playoffs, I think if they win this, it'll be early odds on to.
It'll be hard not to make it.
Yeah.
If they can win this game on the road. Of course, a few more really tough ones, but this is
going to be a big test for them for sure. This is going to be the first true test for them. We thought NC State would be a test, clearly
was not.
Passed that with flying colors. So, all right, we are going to move on. We've got another ranked matchup, USC at Michigan. Michigan, I feel like it's so tough. I mean, you're not ever expected to go back-to-back with national championships. I mean, Georgia was dominant. Clemson had their reign. Alabama obviously had theirs. But Michigan struggled.
Yes. I think across the college football landscape and, people who cover teams and cover the league, the whole country, I think it was a split on what Michigan would look like this year. It's like they lost so much from last year. It's like they could literally just fall over and be unranked, miss the playoff, or they could surprise people and get back to the playoff. I think we're in that kind of gray area right now. This is where we'll kind of really find out, because USC is also one of those that's been in that, like, what are they going to be? Losing Caleb Williams. So I think, before we get to the locking in the picks, I am looking at USC in this one. I think I don't buy Michigan right now.
I haven't bought Michigan at all. I mean, obviously I took Texas. Texas blew them out, but they do have a new quarterback, so that could certainly change some things up. I think that was certainly a weak point for them through the first 3 weeks. The issue is that they also might be out their star target in their tight end, Colston Loveland. He is questionable to play, so it's really back and forth on what you're going to see.
You're right.
So we will come back to the lines on that one. Our last highlighted game, we've got Utah at Oklahoma State.
Ooh.
We've got, talk about some experience. Cam Rising versus Alan Bowman in that QB battle. 7th-year quarterbacks. One's 24, one's 25. They're both older than I am, and I've been doing this job for over a year.
Yeah.
So I've got some questions about maybe we need to move on and go into the workforce.
I remember when back in the day when you were supposed to be out of college by like 22. But,
they're just
with all these,
the dream.
With the COVID year and all the red shirting and the new NIL world of college football, we have some of these 6-7 year guys. It's crazy.
Utah's been consistently good with Cam Rising at quarterback, though. So that's definitely
hang on to him as long as they can.
Precisely. They're riding that to the end, which this should finally be his final year.
Riding the rising to the end.
But it'll be interesting to see how this matchup goes. They're pretty comparable in like total offense. Utah runs the ball a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
OK State goes more for the passing game. So they're both, targeting different things. So it should be interesting to see how that one falls out. That's for sure.
Yeah, this is a tough one on the road for Utah. But if you want to go against the grain and take the underdog, this is the one to do it. I fully can see Utah pulling off the win here on the road. If you look at that Big 12 landscape, I think Utah probably has the best shot of winning it. Oklahoma State, on the other hand, it's just like they're always right there in the middle. I don't know why. It's just like the last decade. It's like Oklahoma State's always ranked like 12 to 20. And they win big games. No, they don't win the big games. They're always there, and they're a good team.
They've beaten Oklahoma. They've upset in their little rivalry.
But I feel like in a meeting like this, Oklahoma State never wins the game.
I guess we'll find out. So,
it should be a good game either way. Probably the second best game on the slate other than Tennessee and Oklahoma.
I would agree. I would take that over USC Michigan. No one wants to watch Michigan right now.
No.
All right.
Yeah, let's get to the picks, man.
There you go. We are going to shift into our Lauren's Locks segment. Lock them up. Like we said, I've said before, I've yet to hit on a college football or NFL bet yet this year. So we're going to take everything with a grain of salt. I do tend to take really horrible bets. I don't think I've taken – I've just been riding parlays, and all of them have been 8 or more legs. It's kind of hard to actually land one.
It's just having fun at that point.
Exactly.
You're just kind of thrown out there like if it happens.
Like, here's $2.
If
What's
I don't
$2?
win, whatever.
I won't get a coffee, or I don't drink coffee.
I drink way too much coffee. So
See, that's the thing.
I haven't hit on an NFL bet either. I've hit about one, and it was a live bet. So college football, a couple of parlays, haven't got there. So.
We're going to work on it.
We were so close last week. You know the team that ruined it for me? The number one team in the land. Georgia with their 13 to 12
I think they
wins.
also ruined mine. I think I was also rocking.
I had Tennessee minus 49.
I had everyone covering. And I had Georgia covering because Kentucky didn't do anything the week before against South Carolina. What a
Georgia
whirlwind.
Ruined it for us. Number one team.
I know. I was texting.
Now I hope Tennessee kicks their butt.
I was texting Kristen. I was like, look, if you're not going to cover, can you lose? Like, because she's a huge Georgia fan.
Right.
All right.
Crazy.
We're going to actually get into the betting.
Yeah, let's do it now. Lock her in.
All right. No line on ETSU Elon. We'll just say straight up, who are you picking in the game?
I got to go Bucks. Because we disrespected them last week. They showed us that they are a good football team that can hang with anyone, and I got to take them. It's a tough game on the road. This will really be another big test, but if they can come out of there 2-2, going in the conference play, all the momentum in the world for the Bucks, I'm going to go them.
I'm going to make it two for two here. Okay. I'm also going to ride with the Bucks. I think we also, I certainly disrespected them saying that NDSU was going to cover 27-point cover. But I love to be proved wrong.
Yeah.
I was hoping they would win once we got, closer to it. I was like, come on, pull it out. Fell short. I don't think that happens this week. I think they get back on track for sure. All right, we've got Rutgers at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech opened, favored by 4.5 points, since dropped to 3.5. So people, they think it's going to be a close game, just right around a field goal.
Those are the bettors, the professionals coming in to drop that number down on Rutgers. Whenever that happens, it makes you skeptical.
A little bit.
But I think Lane Stadium's going to be rocking. Tech needs it bad going into ACC play. We'll go with the Hokies. This might be a touchdown game, but a cover. She wants to go against it. Just do it.
I don't. I want Virginia Tech to fight. It's just so tough. Virginia Tech lost at Rutgers last year, which no one thought that they really should be doing that. So I think coming home, they certainly shouldn't lose. But they shouldn't have. I mean, they should, at this rate, know how to score in the first half, and they still haven't. So it's just like, when is it going to finally click, or are they just, a below average team? That's my big question at this rate. Yep. And so I am 3.5 is just so close. It's such a tight window.
Mm-hmm.
Give me... I'm going to take Virginia Tech to cover. Yes. I don't like it, though.
All right, Hokies. She doesn't like it, but she's locking her in.
Yeah. I mean, I want them to win, but I don't like it. All right, moving on. We've got Tennessee opened 7.5 point favorites, fallen to just a touchdown favorite.
This one's tough, too. I mean... This is tough. Whenever it gets to that 7 mark, I mean, you got to win by more than a touchdown. And that's in a game like this in Norman. Here's what I'm going to say. Oklahoma's going to cover. I'm going to take the +7, but the Vols are going to win. Field goal game.
See, now this is where I was so lost. I was scrolling through, both of us helped do the picks with Steve Wilmoth, was scrolling through them, and I saw a lot of people had really close games, and I just don't think it's going to be that close. Oklahoma has not really shown to me that they're like SEC caliber at this point, and
fair.
Tennessee has.
Right.
Now, like I said, you don't know. I don't know the strength of opponents and how that's going to play in. And like you said, playing a full 60 minutes, I don't know how that's going to impact everything. But I mean, unless Nico gets hurt and there's like a drastic change to this Tennessee team, I would easily have them covering a 7-point line. I think they're going to win by 2 scores plus.
Okay. I think what will determine it is the first half.
Yeah.
If Tennessee kind of gets shell-shocked right out of the gate with their first test in what's going to be an unreal environment, it's going to be a close game. But if they come out and move the ball like they have been and score right away, then I see Tennessee winning by a couple scores. But
yeah. I mean, the road environment definitely I could see playing into it, but I'm still rocking Tennessee.
All
right. Moving on. USC, Michigan. USC opened as 6.5 point favorites, now down to 5.5 point favorites.
See, whenever that happens, that 5 number always kills me. The 5.5, and it always moves down. I feel like the team underdog always wins that. I swear, when the number moves down to 5.5. So I'd like to say that on those trends, I'd pick Michigan, but now I'm going USC. We already talked about it.
Yeah.
We don't like Michigan right now.
That's my thing.
USC covers.
Michigan is the question mark with the new quarterback. We've not seen this new quarterback. I don't know what he's going to bring. I don't know how dynamic he's going to be. Maybe it's like a, Trevor Lawrence moment where you come in, you shine, you take over the starting role, and you just rock with it for the rest of the way.
Right.
I don't think that, though.
Okay. So
I'm also going to take USC to cover. And finally, wrapping things up, Oklahoma State opened as 2.5 point favorites and have remained the same on ESPN, but I looked on some other ones and I saw Utah as the favorite. So this quite literally depends on what book you're going through,
Right.
who's going to have the upper hand. So this seems like a real toss-up.
Yeah, I'm going to say I was going to look at my FanDuel and see what the line is there, but I don't know if it'll work here because we're in Virginia.
You can bet in Virginia?
It doesn't let me on mine.
Are you serious?
I could be wrong. I don't know. My phone's not working anyway.
Is it not?
Utah.
You're taking
I'm
Utah?
taking Utah on the road.
Let's see if DraftKings will load. So are you a fan? You're a FanDuel?
Yes.
I'm hardcore DraftKings. That's what I rock with. College
Okay.
football. Let's see. What do we have? Where is it? It's giving me all the like no-name ones. Not the ranked matchups. Where are we? Here we go. Oh, this one's got Utah as a 1-point favorite.
Okay. I'm taking it.
You're taking it?
Mm-hmm.
That's so bad. I think I'm going Oklahoma State. We can't agree on every single
Right.
pick.
I gotta
we didn't
have a
agree on
different
every
one.
pick, but I think that Oklahoma State, I think I just would rather root for Oklahoma State than Utah.
Okay.
I'm rocking with the orange. All right. Well,
The black and orange.
The black and orange.
We got the boring red and white.
Basic. Look,
It's-
I went to
unless
Clemson.
they
I've
come
got a
out with
lot of
those.
orange in my closet, so we'll rock with Oklahoma
Okay.
State. All right. So this is a wrap on our week 4 college football catch up. We'll, keep you updated on what happens with ETSU, Virginia Tech, and Tennessee all on Saturday. We're a day late here, but exciting slate of games coming up tomorrow. And we'll be back with you next week to touch on what we got coming up next week.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait.